Hello, happy Thursday, and welcome to another video. I know that I've been missing for a while, but I'm back. So thank you for clicking on this video, and welcome to my channel. If you're new, welcome back. If you're a returning subscriber. Anyway, so let's just get into the video. So today's topic, as you can tell by the title, is how to journal. So there are 5 different types of journals that I wanted to go over today. I just want to preface by saying you do not need 5 journals. I don't even have all 5. I just have 4, which I know is still a lot, but you know, we'll get into it. So with that being said, I wanted to get into the first type of journal, and that is the bullet journal. This is honestly my holy grail. Like, I love this journal. I live by this journal, truly. It also has all my notes from my YouTube videos, so we're gonna be reading my little notes out of here today. So there's obviously, like I said, many types of journals, way more than 5, but I know that sometimes it can be a little daunting to get into journaling, which is why I wanted to make this video, because I love journaling, but even I don't journal every day. You know, sometimes I slack off for a few weeks and I feel really bad, but I'll get into that later as well. So back to the bullet journal. I think if you're starting out, this is an amazing journal. I'm not gonna lie, I used to really strongly dislike small journals. I just don't like little things like that. Like, I'm like, why? Who's writing in this? Like, it's so tiny. What am I really gonna write down in this? I still live by that. Like, those journals that are like this size, those make me angry. But this is like the perfect size. I like these because I feel like I don't have to be perfect with these. Like, I can just, but you don't have to be perfect in any of your other journals. But if you're like me, then you're gonna think that you have to. So this is perfect because I scribble everything down and I feel like there's no pressure. Like, when I write in it, my writing doesn't have to be perfect. I can write in whatever form, bullet form, paragraphs. Like, I have little doodles in this, sticky notes, like just random things. It's kind of like brainstorming, just word vomiting everything in this book, which is why I love it so much. A bullet journal is like a must have. Like, that is my #1 journal. It's just perfect. So you can write down your everyday thoughts, to-do lists, ideas and planning, and whatever you're working on. Sometimes if I'm also reading or I see something that I want to remember, I'll write it down, like a good little quote. I can kind of dissect the quote or, you know, go into further detail about why I like it, blah, 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 and how it will apply to my life. So this is just great because I literally use it for everything, like I said, mainly my planning and to-do lists. So yeah, that's my little spiel on bullet journals. I think they're honestly the best. I have to thank Pablo for that one, honestly, because I would not have gotten this if he didn't convince me to get one, because he's had one, I don't know how long, but he's had one for a long time, and he was like, yeah, you need it, like, it's so amazing, it's so awesome. And then I was like, okay, I'll try it. And then after I tried it, I was like, Pablo, this is the best thing that I think I've ever learned about. So thank you for sharing this with me, because it's just amazing. This journal is just great, especially if you're like scattered brain like me. This is just amazing. So that's the first journal I wanted to talk about. The next one that I want to talk about is my everyday journal, and I'm going to bring that out so you can see, but this is my everyday journal. I also just want to say, you don't have to go out and spend a whole bunch of money on a journal. I wanted to, because one, I felt like it would make me feel like I need to journal. Like, I spent a lot of money on this, like, I need to fill this up. And also because I wanted to invest in a journal. Like, I wanted to prove to myself that this was an investment. You can spend $10 at Walmart and get a journal, but this one I invested in. It's from Chapters. I can link this one in the description and also just show you this is the exact one that I have. I just thought it was worth the investment. So continuing on, I used to feel so much pressure when I didn't journal in this, and I personally use this one for my everyday thoughts or to kind of update myself, because it's just kind of fun to like look back on and read about like where I was mentally and physically a few months ago. Like, the other day I was looking back at this and I was reading, there was like an instance where I was like crying and I was like, I don't know, I'm like, I wonder how long it'll take for me to get over this is heartbreaking, blah blah blah. And I look back and I'm like, oh my god, I cannot believe I felt like that. Like, I don't even remember feeling like that, which is crazy. It's also a good thing because it shows your progress and how much you've grown as a person. So that's why I love my everyday journal. I'm not going to show you my full journal because, you know, there's some secrets in here, but I just want to show you some things that like I've done, and yeah, I just like to make them fun. So I'm going to show you this one too. This whole entry is from when I went to the cottage with some friends last year, before Pablo moved back to Mexico, and this is like the box that he brought some cookies in, and the store is like in Mexico, so I kept that, and then I also like turned that into a whole entry and like some of my favorite memories from the cottage. So I love this journal because I have always wanted to have fun with journals, and I always wanted those like aesthetic and pretty journals that you see on Pinterest everywhere. And that's also why I didn't like to journal as much, because I was like, ugh, I don't have the energy to make it look pretty. When it's your journal, no one's gonna be looking at it except for you, so you don't have to worry about making it look pretty. Like, just write in it, and then if you want to make it look pretty, some simple steps would be like using different pens. Like, when I'm journaling, I always use my black pen, a gray pen, and then like my gray or brown highlighter that I all got from Muji, just because those are my favorite things to write with. Actually, no, I think the highlighters are like midliner highlighters. So yeah, it's just filled with memories, which is why I love it so much. It's like a time capsule, so I just love it. So yeah, that's everything about my everyday journal. The next one I want to get into is a shadow journal, and Personally, I don't have that journal just because, like I said, I like to use this as a time capsule. I like to read the entries where I'm like, oh wow, like I can't believe I was feeling this low and this sad, and then like it changes to, oh, like this was so happy. So I like to keep it all in one space. But I think shadow journals and shadow work in general is very important because it helps you grow as a person. There are a lot of prompts out there, like you don't need to buy one of those guided ones. There is one creator I follow on TikTok, I can't remember her name. If I do remember, I'll put it here, but she has like so many different prompts, not just for shadow work, but just so many journaling prompts, which I think can also help you start your journaling journey. But yeah, shadow work is just fun because it can get really sad, obviously, because that's when you're going into the parts of yourself that you don't really want to look at, but are important to kind of help you heal and move forward in life. So I would say you don't have to necessarily invest in a shadow journal, but definitely do some shadow work. I think that's very important for everyone. I also want to mention that you do not need to go out and buy like 4 or 5 journals. It's up to you. Like if you do want a separate journal, by all means get one. There's no pressure to buy all these journals. I just wanted to share them with you. The next journal that I want to talk about is my gratitude journal. I love this journal. You don't need to buy like the guided ones. I personally haven't come across gratitude journals that I've really loved or like have made me want to buy them. The reason why I really like this one is because they have different challenges that you can do every few days, sometimes weeks, where it'll be like this one, for example, has 10-day reflection, monthly journal talking about thoughts, feelings, moments, and lessons. It also has like a 30-day life wheel, where I've done a life wheel before, which I think is also really important to do, but just kind of rating where you feel like your physical health is, mental health, your home life, spirituality, career, things like that, rating them on a scale of like 1 to 10. I like doing life wheels because it shows you the areas in your life where you're lacking and where you need to grow more, and which you can also journal about, like, oh, this is what's lacking in my life. These are some things I can do to help myself and to, you know, fulfill that part of myself. So yeah, that's why I like this one specifically, because it has fun challenges like that. I also like this one because of the wording. I never liked to do those gratitude journals because I just felt like they were too repetitive. Like, and I understand, like, there's so many things I'm grateful for, you know, like it's like, oh, 3 things I'm grateful for in the morning, 3 things I'm grateful for at night. And it's like, it's kind of hard. Like, I understand the purpose of them because it's like, oh, like try to find just the little things that can make you happy, you know, like it's because we often overlook the little things in our lives, like having a roof over my head, having food to eat, having, you know, money to buy food, a loving family, things like that. So I understand the point of them, but I just didn't like them because I felt like I didn't want to be too repetitive. I didn't want to be like, oh, well, I was grateful for the roof over my head yesterday, I don't want to write that in today. But I know that sounds stupid, but that's just how I felt when I was writing them. I'm like I felt like there was too much pressure on like trying to be really, really grateful, where like I wasn't even feeling the gratitude of it. Like I was just like, oh, I don't know. Like it just felt like too much pressure to me. So I like these prompts because it says, today I look forward to, still making you grateful for your life, but it's kind of easier, especially if you're doing it morning and night. Like it just helps you set your day up and set the intentions for the day, because you can be like, oh, today I'm looking forward to reading 10 pages of my book, or filming a YouTube video, doing the thumbnail for my video, like things like that. It just makes you excited for the day, in my opinion. And then at the end of the day, then that's when you're like, oh, I'm grateful for this. And you can be like, yeah, I'm grateful that I did finish reading those 10 pages. I like it because it kind of changes my perspective on it, on gratitude journals in general. So if you are gonna buy a gratitude journal, I'd recommend this one. I will also link this one in the description, and I'll put the one right here that I have. I think I got it from Barnes & Noble when I was in the US, but I feel like Chapters would have this, but I'll look. So, and the last journal that I want to talk about today, and also my favorite journal, is my dream journal. That's this one. She's simply decorated, but I love her. I feel like not a lot of people have dream journals. Like, I don't know. I have so many dreams, which I've talked about in a few of my other videos, but I love my dreams, which is why I wanted to do a dream journal. This is also more creative for me because I write the dream, but then I also do little drawings or doodles, sketches, just art pieces really, where I kind of showcase something that happened in the dream. And it's just like a really creative outlet for me. Whereas these ones are more like emotional outlets without, I feel like, that pressure of having to finish like a whole painting or a whole drawing. I think if you dream and you live your dreams as much as I do, definitely invest in one of these. Again, I say invest, but like it can literally be like $10. And then I have a folder in my notes app where I have the dreams that need to be transferred to this one, and then the dreams that have already been transferred to my dream journal. So they're just so fun. I just love my dream journal. So those are the 5 types of journals that I wanted to talk about. Now I just want to get into how to actually journal, how to start journaling. As I mentioned kind of before, you can just start with those mini updates. I think those are super easy to get into, and it's not as much pressure. It doesn't have to be like an everyday thing. It can literally be like, oh, I haven't journaled in a week, but I want to talk about something else today. You can literally just be like, last week, these are the highlights. Another thing too for your everyday journal, sometimes when I am feeling overwhelmed, like let's say I'm really sad in the moment and I just want to journal, in my head, I'm like, I know journaling would help, but I'm also like, no, I can't journal because the last thing my journal knows is from like 3 weeks ago when I was feeling this and I was feeling that and it's like not updated. What I do in that case is I just write what I need to write down. Like if I'm feeling sad and I need to just get it out and I want to journal, which is the point of this journal, it's like free therapy, I'll just like write it down. And then the next day or when I feel better, then what I do is I'll just make the title like little updates. And then I literally write like 1 to 4 sentences of just what I want to update on. Like I'll be like, oh, May blah blah blah, I did this and it was super fun, saw these people. May 30th, did this, blah blah blah. Like, so I feel like that's kind of a good way to not overwhelm yourself as much. Another easy way to make your journal pretty is to buy stickers. I have a pack of stickers and I bought like this journal thing from Umomo, I think, and it's just like, it's for like photo albums, but I just use them to put my stickers and I just like cut them up so they fit nicely in there. And sometimes I will go out and buy stickers just so I'm like, it kind of gives me a reason. I'm like, oh, I bought a bunch of coffee stickers, so I have to go to a cafe so I can use all these stickers. So it also kind of helps me get out of my house more. Sounds a little weird or lame, but I don't think it's lame. I think it's super fun. So yeah, I would say that. Another good way to get into journaling is, this is something I used to do when I took acting classes like years ago. We would start the class by doing something called a rose and thorn, and we would meet once a week. Rose was something good that happened to you that week or something you were looking forward to, and then your thorn was something bad that happened that week. I think that one's an easy prompt and it's super fun. I think for me personally, it's also just nostalgic, so I do like to do that from time to time. But I also mentioned this before, but you can also just look up journal prompts. There's so many sources out there. Pinterest, just like a basic Google search. I'm sure there's like websites for it. TikTok, probably Instagram. I also just love my journal because, like I said, it's free therapy. You can just get it all out. Sometimes they're also good too, like if you're an oversharer, like sometimes I can be an oversharer with my friends. I'm not necessarily an oversharer, but like I feel like I'm the type of person where like if something happens to me, I have to tell someone immediately. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, like this amazing thing just happened to me, I need to tell everyone. Like I do love sharing things with people, but I feel like sometimes it's kind of nice to kind of have something of your own, like even though it brings you happiness and I'm gonna tell people eventually. I think I want to practice like not having to depend on people to kind of, I don't know how to explain it. I feel like subconsciously I depend on them to be like it's kind of like seeking validation from them, and I just recently realized this about myself. I think it is like the validation aspect of it, and I didn't realize that because I kind of sat down and I was like, why do I feel the need to tell people immediately? And then if one of my friends answer, I'm like, oh my god, I have to tell this person like immediately. No, you don't have to. You can journal it. It's just second nature to me at this point, but I do want to practice that. So yeah, little things like that. And also it's just a safe space. So another tip that I want to share is to actually set time to journal. Like I said, I don't do this enough. I did recently start journaling again just because I really wanted to and I missed it. Even if it's 5 minutes in the morning or like 10 minutes at the end of the night, you have the time. If you have time to scroll on TikTok for like an hour to 2 hours before bed, as soon as you wake up, you have time to journal for 5 minutes. I promise you. So yeah, set aside time to journal because it is really important, especially if you're just starting out. Building that habit from the start is just important, but also don't pressure yourself. Like be realistic with it. If you're like me and you get hyperfixated on things really easily, try to set realistic goals. Like for me, I was like, oh, I'm gonna journal 30 minutes a day. If you're a beginner, you can just set the goal of journaling 3 times a week, 10 minutes during each segment, so it's only 30 minutes a week, which is really nothing. It's just important to set time aside. I've been rambling on, and I know I cut it out, but I've been rambling on for this for like 5 minutes, so just set aside the time, okay? My last tip for you is to keep it close. My journals always sit right on this desk here. I always bring my bullet journal and a pen with me. I just love having this on me because there have been so many times where I unexpectedly decided to go to a cafe for 30-40 minutes, and I'm like, oh, this would be so much better if I had my journal with me. So I always keep this one on me. The other journals I don't really like to take out with me. My dream journal I don't mind because they're my dreams. Everyday journal, I don't really have secrets in here, but there's still some things that I'm like, this is for me and me only. So I just like to keep it close to me in terms of my bedside. So that way I'm like, if it's late at night and I'm watching YouTube and I'm like, maybe I should be journaling instead of watching YouTube. I don't know. Or I'll have a YouTube video playing in the back and then I can still just journal. So keep it close by. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope you liked it. I'm sorry, I feel like I haven't recorded in a long time, so I feel like I was my ideas, even though I had them all here, were very scattered, and I was there was just a lot going on. But I really hope you liked this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see you next Thursday. I hope you have an amazing day today. Happy Thursday. I will see you next week.